All right, how's it going, Mike?
What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. Everybody, this is Mike Padilla. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Renzo Gracie and recent competitor in the Eddie Bravo Invitational Tournament, specifically EBI 13. And Mike, thanks for joining me here on MMA World.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm on my daughter's cheerleading practice right now.
Oh, okay. No, we can hear you. So, again, I want to start first with EBI because that was your most recent competition. That was last weekend over in Los Angeles.
Yes, sir.
As a guy who comes from the Midwest, I know you're from the East Coast. Had you been to Los Angeles before, and did the time zone at all throw you off, or is that something that was easily to combat?
I got out there early enough to where I could adjust for the couple hours. It wasn't that bad. That was my second showing at EBI, so I kind of knew what to expect.
Now, compared to your first time at EBI, do you feel that you performed better? Do you feel you performed worse, or do you feel that you were right along the same path?
No, it was pretty much night and day. My first run at it, I was kind of a little starstruck. Maybe my confidence wasn't as high as going into the second one, but I've had better experiences at other organizations to where kind of got my feet wet a little bit. So I was pretty much ready to go as soon as I got there.
Now, which EBI did you first compete at? Was it 5?
EBI
right?
3, actually.
EBI 3, okay.
170.
All right. Okay. And so obviously competing formerly at 170, now for this term at 155, that probably had to make a world of difference as well, right? Competing more at your natural weight class?
Yeah, absolutely. 170, I probably walk around in the high 60s, low 70s, but I'm definitely not at that grappling weight. Definitely not.
Now, would you ever compete at 145, or is 155 as low as you like to go?
Nah, 155 is pretty much, that's my limit. I feel nice and strong there, fast, smooth. I don't want to push it too much.
For sure. And in the first round of EBI 13, you took on Mikey Main. You were able to get past him with that inside heel hook. Now, for those of you that watched the tournament, you guys are kind of rolling in that position. You kind of go off the mat. Did you think it was going to get restarted, or did you think
no,
you'd be able to allow to finish that?
I knew the whole time it wasn't going to get restarted, so I just continued, attacking the way I had to. He kind of, I think he was kind of hoping for a restart, and I kind of had Eddie in the corner of my eye the whole time, and he wasn't really making a flinch, so I was like, okay, I got to just keep this going until he stops, Coming from a wrestling background, we wrestle from bell to bell, so I was pretty much, until he stops me, I'm going to keep going.
Now, when you were going in that heel, obviously the heel hooks are kind of, I hate to say a cliche, but kind of like the in vogue submission with EBI.
Yeah.
So kind of knowing that coming in, is that something you have to train more than usual, knowing that that's what guys are going to be throwing, and that's probably what I should be throwing as well?
Absolutely, or really get your defense up there to where you can kind of get a good position afterwards. But you better know your leg locks when you're going into these competitions, especially sub only. A lot of times at this level, the guard's so hard to pass. That's why you see these guys kind of just dropping back for leg locks. But I like to pass the guard as well as do leg locks, so I try to mix it up.
Now, of course, with EBI obviously being a submission-only tournament, do you like the submission-only tournaments, or do you prefer like more points-based, traditional jiu-jitsu tournaments?
No, I'm definitely a sub-only guy. I even teach my guys. We're not big point guys. We're definitely sub hunting all the time.
Now, obviously, you're a black belt under Renzo Gracie. Obviously, there's a connection with that, with like the John Danaher, Tom DeBlas guys, with your Gary Tonins and stuff. Have you ever trained with those guys before, or did you kind of have to break that off when the tournament time hit?
No. I had some cross training with them in the lower ranks. But I work full time still. So I don't have as much the luxury of time as these guys, are training, multiple times a day, starting at 5 in the morning. So but I have trained with those guys. They're freaking ridiculous. They're awesome. But no, I don't get too much training with those guys.
Now, of course, in the second round, you took on the very tough Nathan Orchard. During the
Yes, sir.
broadcast, they were kind of saying that you were calling Nathan Orchard out. And now that I have a chance to actually talk to you, is that true, or is that just something they were saying on the broadcast?
I think it was like kind of true, but not as like how they were portraying it.
Okay.
I just asked for the match. I'm always looking to test myself against the best guys. And I think Nate, he's one of the best guys out there. So, I tried to a while back try to get a match set up with him through another organization. Everybody's busy. He's out there doing his seminars and doing other super fights for other organizations. So that was my chance, and I made one mistake. The guy capitalized. That's all it takes at this level, though. But shake it off, get back out there, and try to do it again.
Now that you got this experience at your natural weight, you're able to win a match, at least get to the next round. Obviously, I know you wanted to win the whole thing, but do you feel like that's somewhat of accomplishment itself, just being able to win and take on like a guy you said like Nathan Orchard?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely feel a lot more comfortable down there, so I'm definitely going to be back. Eddie said, that's the best I looked. So, he's definitely going to have me back out. Maybe you might even see me at the 170 again. Who knows?
Now, I know you said 170. Their next tournament is the Absolute Tournament, which is just anybody.
Nah, I'm all right with all
that. Would you ever do something like that?
No, not. I'm too old for that.
Now, of course, I just want to get your thought on that real quick. Obviously, Gordon Ryan is their defending Absolute champion. He just recently won ADCC. He's probably coming in as the favorite. What do you think about this kid? I mean, he's only 21 years old, already a black belt, winning these big-time tournaments. I mean, I would say probably next to maybe BJ Penn. He's a guy that's, I would say, really taken the jiu-jitsu world by storm.
Hey, the sky's the limits for that kid, man. His work ethic's ridiculous. You can't take nothing away from him. He's unbelievable. He's definitely going to win EBI again. This is no doubt about it. It's whether he just submits all his guys or whatever. The kid's, he's on another level, and he can only get He can only get better. That's what's scary.
For sure.
20 years old, man. That's unheard of. Or 21, I think he is now.
Yeah. Now, of course, obviously one of his instructors and obviously training partners, Gary Tonin, he won your tournament there, EBI 13. What did you think about his overall performance there at EBI?
He did ridiculous. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do. The brackets always favor the champ a little bit. So, his first round, maybe even the second round, he kind of cruised through. Third and fourth round, he even made those matches look easy. So I don't even know what to say. But the guy, he's the best in the world, man. Those guys are ridiculous over there.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the final. Obviously, it was a rematch between Tonin and Wagner Hosha. Wagner ended up winning on points when they just fought a couple of months ago at ADCC. So going to the final, I think myself and a lot of people thought this is going to be a very close match, but Gary wins by heel hook in less than 3 minutes. Did that surprise you at all?
No, not at all. I was hoping... Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew that was going to happen. If you watch Wagner's matches, I don't know if the guy don't like money or what, but he wasn't really trying to finish any matches in regulation. The guy has phenomenal pressure or whatever, what have you, but he don't go for any submissions. He'd rather just hold a position in overtime. And some of those overtimes, he was going all 3 rounds. I'm tired just watching the guy, so. Gary Tonin don't get tired. Don't matter.
Yeah.
That guy will roll for 3 hours straight. He don't get tired. I would have liked to see Wagner try to open up a little bit, but he doesn't do that, so which leaves Gary fresh in the hole, ready to go and rip legs off, make money. That's 20 grand
for sure.
Bank for the guy.
And do you think Wagner, it seemed, at least in that tournament, and I haven't seen as much of him as maybe some other competitors, but it seems as though he was really complacent on trying to like bully people, kind of make them
Yeah,
uncomfortable, push them, putting the forearm in the head and all that. Do you think he was getting
that's his
too much in
style.
that?
That's his
Yeah,
style. That's just how he grapples. Really, he's an aggressive, in-your-face grappler. You can't fault him for that though. He bullied his way through the finals.
for sure. All right, we got a couple of questions in the comments. So we'll start first with a question from Peter. He says, what are some of your long-term goals in jiu-jitsu as a competitor?
Looking to do a couple more EBIs before I'm done competing. I'd like to see if I can qualify that coveted ADCC spot, but we'll see what happens. Regardless, I'm always out there just trying to test myself against the best in the world. And that's really, I just want to set an example for my students by doing that. So that's really what I'm all about.
We also got a question from Frankie that says, what do you think of the combat jiu-jitsu that was featured at EBI 13?
Ah, it was good, man. My buddy Boogeyman Martinez took it. That's a different animal, man. I don't know if I'd be able to do any of that. I don't like getting smacked. But it's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting. There's definitely a market for it too.
Now, obviously, the combat jiu-jitsu with the open hand strikes and everything, is that something you think might kind of catch on as kind of a gap between jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts, or do you think it might kind of, some people might not get it?
I mean, you might catch it. I think it might catch on just because of these guys maybe exiting MMA, or maybe even the guys entering MMA. It gives them a nice little wake up. Because it definitely changes when you're introducing striking and you're grappling. It definitely changes the whole game. Black belts will turn into a blue belt real quick. Some of them, if they get hit too hard.
Now, looking over at the field, obviously, like I said, I know you wanted to face Nathan Orchard, but was there anyone that, regardless of when it would happen or what round, that you were like, man, if I could take on this guy, I think that'd be pretty cool?
Trying to think about the bracket there. I mean, really, Nate, Wagner.
I'll throw out some of the names there. Yeah, Wagner. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked to fought Wagner. I got Nate. Didn't do too good, but like I said, the mistakes. Even Gary, I would have liked to see Gary in the finals, but we're distant teammates, so I'm not saying that I wanted to, but it would have been cool to face somebody like that, because he kind of goes for broke like I do.
For sure. Now, I wanted to ask you about Keith Krikorian, if I said his name correctly. This guy got the on one day and is only a purple belt. I think the majority of you are black belts, and he made it to the quarterfinals. What do you think about that kid?
He was a literal last-minute replacement. They were waiting for a phone call from Bill Cooper. That was another guy I would have liked to get a match with, but he didn't show up. Keith, man, that kid's got heart. We're actually doing a charity tournament in November. He entered it, so you might see that. The kid's got heart, man. My arm would have been broken after that armbar escape he hit.
Oh my gosh, for sure. We got another question coming in from Joe. He wants to know, who is the GOAT in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Who would you classify as the greatest of all time?
That'd probably go with either Marcelo Garcia or Roger Gracie. Two different weight classes, but those guys are the best that ever did it.
Now, of course, speaking of ADCC, obviously something you'd like to do. For those of you who don't know, it's not like traditional jiu-jitsu. It's more actually submission wrestling or catch wrestling, however you want to say that.
Yeah.
When you looked at the field a couple months ago, what did you think about some of the performances there?
That ADC was awesome this year. You actually saw the sub only guys taking over, and it's only a matter of time. You can't out wrestle. If these guys are getting better at wrestling, the sub only guys get better at wrestling. They can turn their transition into submissions, and you're gonna see that. You're gonna see that coming. a lot of times in the past ADCCs, you just saw like better wrestlers win, you know. But this ADCC, you saw Cabrinha beat AJ Agazarm, who's one of the best wrestlers in the game right now, jiu-jitsu wise. You saw Cabrinha out wrestle him, so that's gonna be, you know, that's gonna be great for the sport, ADCC as well.
And do you think that's going to be, like you said, the kind of help? And this is not any offense to Mark Kerr, who obviously was an amazing competitor, but you think that would phase out some of those guys that are just simply big, strong, you know, wrestlers, and show them that, hey, there's another part than just simply like takedowns and points and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, definitely. Yeah, these guys are in for a rude awakening. I mean, look what Gordon did to his field this year. He totally tore it up too, and he had some really good wrestlers in his. Keenan Cornelius is usually a pretty good wrestler, ADCC, taking people down and stuff.
Now we got another question here from James. He says, any advice for young kids who want to kick some ass?
Just keep training, man. Just keep training.
Now, of course, I know you do some seminars as well. How often do you do those, and how would someone go about getting you for a seminar?
I do them as much as possible. Been trying to push them a lot more lately, you know, because I want to, you know, eventually exit my working career and into just teaching BJJ full time. But you can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, Padilla BJJ, Pennsylvania. That's pretty much it.
Now, of course, you do own your own school, as you mentioned right there, Padilla Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over in Allentown, Pennsylvania. How long have you actually owned that school?
I've been open about a year.
And that's obviously, being a guy who's been studying jiu-jitsu for many years, was that kind of like a long-term goal of yours to get your own school and start, you know, teaching the sport?
Yeah, like I say, like about when I turned to purple belt, I kind of knew, you know, that it was definitely in the cards for me.
Now, obviously, you're going to be teaching some of the classes there, but who are some of the other instructors that teach there as well?
I have my good buddy that followed me when we left our academy. Well, not left our academy, but, you know, when I opened up. Chris Gonzalez, he's a brown belt under our organization. And I have a newcomer, Araldo Rodas. He's a purple belt. He's really good, teaching some morning classes for me. And we're looking to add some more classes soon, so see what happens.
Now, of course, you just competed in EBI last week. What is your game plan for your next tournament like that, or anything?
Well, I got the charity tournament for it's a Toys for Todd event coming up in late November, and then hopefully it sounds like I'm gonna have a super fight with Joe Bays. He's out of Kentucky. The guy's a leg lock wizard for the Zapatero 155 belt. So we'll see how that goes. See if that gets set in stone or what have you.
All right. Well, he is Mike Padilla. As he mentioned, you can check out his websites, padillabjj.com. Also on Instagram, padillabjjpa, and also that's the same handle for the Facebook account as well. Last question I did have for you, Mike, though, was the logo that you have. It's like is that like a monkey with the black belt? That's like your official Padilla BJJ.
Yeah.
Who came up with that? And is there any story behind that logo?
Well, yeah, like I have a graphic designer that she trains with us. She's ridiculous, but they kind of said I roll like a monkey, a vicious monkey. So she kind of just put the character together, and that's actually my face on that monkey.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I wasn't sure, but yeah, now that
so if you guys are interested in any rash guard designs or logo designs, I got the person. Hit her up. Or hit me up. For sure.
And how would someone get one of those rash guards if they wanted one? Because I will admit, it's a pretty awesome logo.
Yeah, I mean, I have some mediums left. You just have to hit me up on private message or whatever.
All right, awesome. Again, he is Mike Padilla, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and recent EBI competitor. Mike, thanks for joining me here in MMA World. I really appreciate it and look forward to seeing you compete here in the near future.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, brother. Good meeting you.
For sure. We'll see you, Mike.
Bye-bye.
thanks again, everybody, for joining here on MMA World. Once again, I am Jim Graham. You can follow me on Twitter at Jim Graham, just my name, JimGramm. And I'd like to thank everybody that tuned in, asked some questions, and again, thanks to Mike for tuning in and taking some time out there helping his daughter out there in Pennsylvania. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time. For MMA World, I am Jim Graham. Goodbye, everybody.